Greetings, brothers and sisters from the four corners of the world. I hope everyone is having a blessed day, afternoon, evening in your perspective lands. All right. Um, this is the last one, brothers and sisters. I hope everyone's feast of a car or celebration of a car was good, and um, I feel like this may be the most important for all. Okay. Um, we did speak a lot, uh, and we touched on a lot about what you sow, the recompense, what you reap. Do you deserve what you're looking for? Do you deserve what you get? Nations are getting what they deserve. We're in the time of prophecy where the Most High is recompensing people for past decisions, conditions of a labor, what it means to be a minister, what it means to be a a person who foots the bill in the walk of Christ. Okay, because though I really was touching mostly the um, on the ministers and the teachers and the leadership, you are your own laborer too, with your own talents. Okay, and and for this lesson, rewards despite the struggle. I would like to apologize right now for those of you who are about to cry, but do understand that this is out of love. Some of these videos may trigger emotional feelings, okay? But all of them, I promise you, are thought provoking and for you to make sure that you are under the labors of the end and then that you can break the bonds and the cycle of what these videos show. Okay, with that being said, rewards despite the struggle. I want you to look at those children on that picture. Okay, and I looked up pictures of children in impoverished areas, refugee camps, and I said, man, for kids living in a refugee camp, they got the greatest smile in the world. I mean, that smile is more valuable than a car, a house, your salary. I mean, good grief, right? And I was wondering, in fact, I wasn't actually, to be honest, I wasn't going to do this slide. I was just going to do three in the Most High. You know, Holy Spirit shared. No, no, there's a little bit more. I want you to just add it in with a kick, for everyone. Okay, not to just end it with ministers. Okay, and those like. But I want you to think of this as we are all, and when I say we are all, I'm referring to we are all, most people in the world are struggling in some way, shape, or form. Okay, but the rewards do come despite the struggle. But the only thing is, what is it exactly that you are expecting from the Most High? Because a lot of people want rewards. They would say, of course, I want rewards from the Most High. Who wouldn't? But sometimes your reward can be very little. Sometimes your reward can be very big, and sometimes your reward is only a confirmation that it will happen in the future with nothing in the present. But the true question is, as we continue to journey as a remnant through the prophecies and the chaos in the world, can you remain with the same level of energy and smile inside your soul, inside your heart, and on your face for the Most High? As you see, there are but four scriptures here, but I do have an additional one. So let's begin. Proverbs 11, brothers and sisters. Proverbs 11. And we're going to go 11 through 18. And it reads, the wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. Video 1. Remember, I love you all.
Larry, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Work. It's important to be useful. Look at me. I got it all figured out. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work.
But choose carefully because you will stay in the job that you pick for the rest of your life.
The same job for the rest of your life? So you'll just work us to death?
We'll sure try.
If you died, your manager would put out a job posting in 48 hours looking for a replacement. Your friends and family will never get that chance. As much as your job is necessary, do not ignore the relationships where you remain irreplaceable.
I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep.
The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. Now, there's two ways to turn this video. Okay. One, let's play the very beginning again. Just the beginning.
Larry, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Work. It's important to be useful. Look at me. I got it all figured out. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work.
Now, in some aspect, this is what the unrighteous look at the people in the truth like. All we do is we get up, we shower, we go to work, we come home, we eat, we go to sleep. Okay. Now, in that sense, for the wicked to say that about the righteous, great. However, in the sense of the Most High, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. And truly, the sinners, the wicked, the non repentant are the only ones who, in reality, live this way. Maybe they add in a little club, maybe they add in a little family reunion, maybe they add in a little get together, boys' night, girls' night out, but it's the same exact thing. And they think that because maybe they drink a little or they smoke a little or have a good time, that manages, you know, you saying I'm not boring, right? But what does it mean but that him that soweth righteousness shall surely be a reward? Boring is good. Boring in some sense is safe. Boring as far as avoiding evil is the best perfection, right? But in realities, brothers and sisters, this actually may be you. I want you to think about that. Some individuals, this is their life. I want you to think about it. We're gonna put it side by side to the scripture. I want you to see it again.
Larry, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Work. It's important to be useful. Look at me. I got it all figured out. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work.
But choose carefully because you will stay in the job that you pick for the rest of your life.
The same job for the rest of your life? So you'll just work us to death?
We'll sure try.
If you died, your manager would put out a job posting in 48 hours looking for a replacement. Your friends and family will never get that chance. As much as your job is necessary, do not ignore the relationships where you remain irreplaceable.
No, that is the most important part because so many people in the world, that's their lifestyle. They do what?
Larry, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Work. It's important to be useful. Look at me. I got it all figured out. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep.
That is the basis of what good, maybe 95% of the population of the whole world, while while neglecting what? While neglecting what? And I want you to hear for it. Hear it again.
If you died, your manager would put out a job posting in 48 hours looking for a replacement. Your friends and family will never get that chance. As much as your job is necessary, do not ignore the relationships where you remain irreplaceable.
And watch this. The books of Shabuah have taught us that each and every one of us are irreplaceable to the Most High. That He loves us the same, but He loves us so differently at the same time. And so many people trade a work relationship instead of building a kingdom relationship. And when I saw this, I said, "Man, this is depressing." But this is the truth, isn't it? This is the truth, isn't it? Why is it they work you so hard, but when you say you want to sit down and have some me time, just you and me with the Most High, something comes up. Oh, you forgot to do something. Oh, they will work you for no reason. They will work you to stay busy. They will work you to stay busy. And if you sit there and think about it, many places in the world are beginning to adapt a 4-day work schedule. Why is that? One, people are dying sooner. Two, there's not enough people anymore. The number of men has gone down drastically. Every form of religious text says, I mean, every single form. And you don't believe me? Go and look at it. All the religious texts say that the women will outnumber the men because they will kill us off. Yes. Okay. And it's so strange that we as a people, as a creation, have worked so much that even many people complain about a 4-day work schedule and say, that's just not right. Now, in the sense of the Most High saying, I created 6 days for you to work, yes, but let's be honest, brothers and sisters, when you work a normal day job, a normal nighttime job, they call it graveyard shifts, they work you more than what they tell you they're going to do, right? There's a job description, and usually everything that's not on the job description is everything that they're asking you to do, right? Isn't it strange? It's like, hey, how come you get to add terms to this contract, but I cannot, right? So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, the wicked are going to work a deceitful work. They're going to keep working in this world for the 401k. They're going to keep working for the retirement. They're going to keep working for better pay. They're going to keep working for health insurance. They're going to keep working for these things. But the righteous understand that you can't work for a reward. So, what? You have to sow for the reward. And what does that mean? Yes, you toil the ground, all right, but sowing, in order to sow righteousness, you have to walk like Christ. So you can work all day, all night. You can pull 21 hours of the day, but it still doesn't amount to the righteousness of Christ unless that's what Christ would do. And brothers and sisters, let's be truthful about 90, if and maybe we can even say 80% of the jobs today Christ wouldn't even consider. He would actually be trying to save you from them. Isn't that strange? Think about it. Matthew was a tax collector, and so many people want to work government jobs, but those are the very jobs that Christ was trying to pull people out of. Isn't it? You didn't think about that, did you? We as a creation seek for the highest reward on earth, but have the lowest standard for the most highest worth. Yet the job is replaceable. You are not. You see that? But in this world, the world says the work is not replaceable and you are. But the Most High says, no, my child, you are irreplaceable to me. Remember the scripture Christ said, many are called, few are chosen. The Most High is losing children by the hour. You ever thought of it that way? He's losing people by the hour. He said the great falling away in Thessalonians, right? The son of perdition would be revealed with a great falling away. Our Father in heaven, the creator, the I am, and he was so intelligent, he put his name as I am. So every time you correlate I am strong, you are giving power to him who created you. I am smart. I am brilliant. I am strong. I am courageous. I am fast. I am muscular. I am healthy. I'm intelligent. You, you see, the Most High cannot be replaced, and neither can you. So don't let this world tell you that you have to work and work and work and work and work. Remember, it is you who is irreplaceable. It is that connection, that relationship that you are trying to work on and build every single day. That is irreplaceable. That's not, you see what I'm saying? The job, right, is replaceable. But that relationship, right? You don't want to lose that. You don't get another relationship with the Most High. He already knows we're coming out of sin, right? We've already proven why we shouldn't be in that relationship. Now that we're in the truth, we are proving why we should keep our relationship and build it stronger, right? So, food for thought after, one last time.
Larry, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Work. It's important to be useful. Look at me. I got it all figured out. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work.
And boom, it hits you.
But choose carefully because you will stay in the job that you pick for the rest of your life.
The same job for the rest of your life? So you'll just work us to death?
We'll sure try.
If you died, your manager would put out a job posting in 48 hours, looking for a replacement. Your friends and family will never get that chance. As much as your job is necessary, do not ignore the relationships where you remain irreplaceable.
Don't do it. Don't ignore. Don't ignore the Most High. Don't ignore the brothers and sisters in Christ. Don't do it. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters. Now, next scripture, Matthew 25, right? Matthew 25, 14, and 30. Let's get right into it. And we know the beginning is the 10 virgins, right? But 14 through 30. It reads, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another two, to another one, to every man according to his several ability. And straightway took his journey. That he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. Likewise, he that had received two had also gained other two. But he that had received one went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them." Now, if you didn't know this word reckoneth, okay, root word is reckon, right? Enumerate, count up, name one by one. Now, look what it says: arrange in order, make calculations. I want you to understand this. So when Christ judges everyone and how he determines how we get into the kingdom, he is counting every single talent that He's giving you and how you use it. If you have 5 talents and you are only using 4, He is counting that. Okay? If you have 5 talents and you're looking for 7, He is counting that. If you have 3 talents and you're looking for 10 and you don't even use your 3, He is looking at that. Okay? That's what reckoneth mean. He's checking it out one by one, making sure everything is in order. And so that he had received 5 talents, he that received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained 5 besides them, 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things, I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents besides them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been over, thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown. Or what? Reaping where thou hast not sown. Reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. That means Christ was looking to see how far your talents traveled into someone's soul. What? So our talents sowed seeds. Our talents pave the way for other seeds to grow and get watered within people. And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. And lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away, even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into our outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now, there's a lot to dissect here. So let's break it down. One, I would like everyone to recognize that when Christ gave you what? There was a difference between the first man. All right, let's evaluate. The man said, "Oh, I have 5 talents." So he that had 5 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Now let's look at this word, delivered. Okay, it's very important. That means entrust. Okay. Now, that means commit as well. Now, let's look at it here as well. Deliver. Okay. Obviously, in the verb, save, rescue, so forth and so forth. Now, deliveress can also come from delivery, an action of handing over to another. Okay. So Christ is giving you something. He's giving you something. Okay. You can see it says here, hand over, give. Now, do you understand? The man came and said, I have received 5 talents. And then he acknowledged that Christ gave him 5 talents. So, do you understand that Christ gives you something and he wants to see it multiply into something greater? So, for example, let's say I'll use myself. As a young person, as a child, I love poetry. Poetry. I just fell in love with writing poetry. And then later on, I started making music. Now, and obviously it's for the Most High, it's always for the Most High. But it may not be the best, but it is all scriptural, it's all gospel, it's all biblical, it's every lyric has something to do with the gospels and the entirety of the Bible, hands down. Okay. I transform that specific talent from originally putting poetry to the music. And I also put the music on YouTube. It's free. I don't necessarily have CDs or anything like that, but it's free to whoever wants it, right? So, um, I started out my journey uh, as a teacher, and then when I became a teacher, I started making lessons for the Most High years ago. I mean, years ago. There's even lessons I haven't, like, and you should see how I write my lessons. I have papers on papers on papers on papers of boxes and boxes. I just had so much, right? And obviously, I pass it down to whoever needs it, or I just keep it moving and throw it away. And then the Most High, the lessons are there. And then, so I started with just a notepad and paper, and then I went into a notepad and paper a uh, and a whiteboard. And then we just kept on going and going and going to where we are. And the Most High is only making things better. Um, and I'll be honest with you all, as I am. For me to put my lessons and my music on YouTube, a platform where people around the world can see, this scripture brought me to doing that because I was like, Most High, I know you want me to put this up here, but I'm just not certain how people, and I don't want no one to say I'm a false minister and all this. Most High, that was my biggest thing. I never want the Most High to view me as an evil minister, as a scribe or a Pharisee. I'm like, Most High, I love you and I'm doing this, and it's like it's got to reach more. That's what that scripture tells you, right? It says, hey, if you hide what I've given you, what value is it? Correct? If you hide what I give you, what value is it? It's of no value, right? So I want you to keep this in mind as also the first servant. said, Hey, thou deliverest unto me, but I gained beside them. Wow. The next one, and so he said, Thou good and faithful. He said, the next two said, He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Okay, and he said, Well done. Now, watch here for the last one. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew that thou art hard man, reaping where thou. So the first thing was he didn't even acknowledge that Christ gave him the talent. He didn't even acknowledge that he recognized Christ gave him the talent. That's the first problem. Because some people in the world, and yeah, I'm probably talking to some of you out there, some of you have not recognized that, oh, that hobby or that thing that you enjoy is called a talent. And more than likely, your life would be a lot better if you used that talent. What? Now, I will say this again, sports is not a talent, okay? Sports is not a talent because playing a sport has a goal or an outcome that has nothing to do with the Most High, right? The goal is to win. But per se, let's say if you sing, the outcome is to give glory to the Most High. The outcome is to sing your testimony to the Most High. Let's say if you draw, let's say if you paint, the outcome is to make someone envision the beauty of the Most High, or maybe even the pain of how your life went and how the Most High saved you, right? You see, these things, the outcome is set on the Most High. Playing a musical instrument, it could be a flute, it could be a violin, it, you could tap dance. Hey, if it was all for the glory of the Most High and the outcome was for the Most High, then you know you're using your talent. Okay? But first, brothers and sisters, pay close attention. This man did not acknowledge that his talent came from Christ. So what does that tell you? When you don't acknowledge that your talent came from Christ and the Holy Spirit, you become afraid to use it. Because when you recognize that it's from Christ, then there comes a understanding that, hey, if I don't use this talent, he is going to call me a wicked person. Does that make sense? That's deep, isn't it? It's kind of like if you go to work, which everyone has a job, if you go to work and your boss says, Hey, Bob, I want you to do this, and you do it differently, and he says, hey, well, hey, you know what? I've been asking you to do this for a month now. You've been doing it your way. You're fired. And you're going to say, why did I get fired? You say, hey, I told you to do it a specific way, and you did it your way. You see that? We are so accustomed, and I'm trying to help brothers and sisters get out of this mindset where you are accustomed to wake up, shower, eat, work, sleep, repeat. Wake up, shower, eat, work, sleep, repeat. You're accustomed to do that, but there's no routine for the Most High. There's no sense of, I have to do this because Christ gave this to me. You see? And this was the problem with this servant. Look at the words in detail. Look at the comparison. What they acknowledged that he gave them something. And so he said, Hey, I want. And so, do you understand? One, they acknowledged. Two, by them acknowledging and saying, hey, well, I did two more things with this talent, or I did five more things. I tried to make it even grander than what you gave. So think of it as Christ giving you a seed and seeing how you make it grow, right? Technically, that's what it is. And so your purpose in life is to make sure your personal seed grows to where they have it envisioned for you. Hmm. That's how we get into the kingdom, brothers and sisters. That's it. And so a lot of people may have misunderstood. Oh, it's not about the selling the goods. Some people sell lotion, some people sell T-shirts, some people sell hats, some people sell this and that. Some people that's called surviving in some cases. Now, remember what I said, brothers and sisters. If the outcome is based on the most high, then it's for the most high. You cannot say, for example, a owner, oh, that's a biblical owner, or that owner's in the truth and they serve the most high. Just because the owner is in the truth doesn't make their reasoning and the outcome based on the most high, because so many people are selling shirts, right? They're selling shirts about the most high and with scripture and hoodies. But surely the Most High didn't tell all of them to do that, did he? Let's be honest. So at that point, it becomes it could possibly, and it's up to Christ, not me. It could possibly be added on, but how can you do something extra when you don't even know what you were called to do? Because he's not going to look at, oh, well, you did X, Y, and Z, but what about what I gave you? Right? He's looking at what I gave you, what he gave you, not what you decided to spin it and, you know, make it yours. He's looking at what I gave you. Okay. Very important, brothers and sisters. Now, I want you to this is the most important one here. Matthew 25 and 29. But before I get there, I want you, well, actually, I'll go through it and then I'll share the next video. Excuse me. Sorry. For unto everyone that hath shall be given. A lot of people hit a blank spot in this scripture, right? What in the world? And he shall have abundance. What in the world is Christ talking about? What is this? I don't get it. For unto everyone that hath shall be given. What what in the world does that mean? Hmm. But from him that hath not shall be taken away, even that which he hath. So this means every single person that uses their talents, he will make sure, remember the talents with the outcome of the Most High in mind, he will make sure that you have abundance for it. But everyone that has a talent, but no outcome to it, he's going to take it away. So from him that hath not, meaning if you haven't expanded on those talents, this wasn't optional. I repeat, this was not optional. Your talents and multiplying them was not optional for any of us, not even myself, not even any ministers, not even Moses, not even Abraham, not even Enoch. Come on. Every single person had to live by this standard. Multiply your talents. You see, check this out. Sometimes reading gets you into a very good place. For example, in the captivity of like Shinar and Babylon, the old Babylon, Iraq and Persia, Elam region, Media, right? We had Mordecai and you had Baruch and Jeremiah, Ezekiel, right? You had Daniel. Now think of Daniel. What was Daniel? Right? And then all of a sudden, in slavery and captivity, he becomes this very famous man because the king goes to him for answers. The children of Zadok. Do you know that they used to read in captivity the captor's religious texts so that they could teach the children of Israel how to walk amongst the children of the captors so they didn't get in any more trouble? So not only did they know the word of the Most High and teach the people the word of the Most High, they also taught the people how to avoid evil within the captor's religion. Wow. Wow. And now you have people, it's like, oh, well, I wouldn't go into that or I wouldn't do that. Sit down. Just sit down. Okay. Brothers and sisters, it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. And like I said before, day one or one day, it's all in the mind, brothers and sisters. Instead of saying, well, I don't know, I can't do this, say, well, obviously, I can do this. You know why you can do this? You know why? Because he gave it to you. Right? He gave it to you. He didn't give it to no one else but you. So that means it's your job. That's your number one duty. All right, here we go.
The mind is a powerful instrument, one so complex that scientists only know one thing for certain. There is a clear correlation between what you think you are capable of and what you are. The man who says he can and the man who says he can't are both correct. Now imagine yourself becoming the person you've always wanted to become. Now stop imagining.
Think about it, right? The person who says they're always wrong and I can't, and the person who says they can are always right. Why? How many times have you, and everyone's guilty of this, how many times have you heard someone say, man, I really see that in you? And you're like, no, I could never. I don't even have time to get there. We have to kind of stop demoralizing ourselves and saying, if Christ put this in me, I can do it. And then how come you will use scripture for everything else but yourself? Watch this, right? You'll go to Corinthians and say, well, I don't know if I want to do that because God says, He wouldn't give me more than I can handle. Well, what about your talent? Lazy. That's why he's going to call people lazy, because people are going to say, well, well, you know scriptures and how to what? And how to duck and dodge responsibility. That's what that is. But what happened? I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me with that talent he gave me. Right? What are we doing? Because I can guarantee you, everyone comes from different walks of life. You take someone, okay, who used to love to party, right? There's a, people used to love to party, and when people were in sin and they loved to party, you couldn't tell them nothing. Hey man, I'm gonna go. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's go. Hey, you don't want to go? I drinks on me. Fine. You don't even, right? Everyone knows that person, right? Where even if someone didn't want to go there, but okay, don't worry about it. I just want you to come with me. And it's almost as if Christ set us up to the point where we can't fail, but we fail ourselves. What? Christ was like, I want you to come with me. Hey, come with me. All right, come with me to the kingdom. Oh, you afraid? Okay, I'm gonna put a talent, at least one talent in everyone. Talents on me. Now, what happens when I reverse it? It sounds amazing, doesn't it? What happened then? What happened? You would be, you'll have no problem accepting in sin the free drinks and a good time out. But when Christ say, "Hey, I knew Satan was going to bother you, so talents on me, talents on me." Christ said, instead of saying drinks on me, Christ said, talents on me. I gave you all the talent. Come on, come on, come on. I want you with me. Talents on me. You don't even have to go and buy one. Uh oh. Uh oh. It's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. Now, here's a little code within a code, right? Check this out. When you see this word and they say, Thou deliverest unto me two talents, right? Now, obviously, we know that it means to hand over. But did you know that your talents can set you free? Did you know your talents can set you free from the work routine of the devil? Say what? Yeah. So you mean to tell me that that the Most High made you so beautiful that He didn't even intend for you to go out and work for someone else's enterprise? He intended all of us to work for Him. But you see, why does it feel so intimidating to do what we love? Because society tells you you need money for everything. And the first thing someone will say is, oh, I don't think that will make so much money. Or that's really hard. That's going to take so much out of you. How are you ever? But it's in me. And if it's in me, it's supposed to come out of me. And if it's supposed to come out of me, then Christ will make sure I have abundance for it, as long as the outcome is for the Most High. You see that? Some of you got dead talents. Some of you got dead talents. Now you go on and put those my goodness, my brain my brain kind of went like, but hold on. Um, I'm gonna keep my voice. Let me look for this online real quick. Okay. Me, me 1 second. Me 1 second. Okay. That Most High forgive me, cause oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. My brain. Okay, some of y'all need to go, and I hope and pray that this lesson serves as a defibrillator. Okay, and it needs to shock that dead talent back alive, because I don't want to see you burn because you're just leaving your talents by the wayside, right? Some of y'all need to shock yourselves up. Wake up. Come on. What are you doing? Right? Because when things hit the fan, remember, every knees gonna be weak as water, or hands will be weak, palms sweaty, knees will be feeble, hands be weak. When you start to see the bombs, and you start to see those nuclear bombs do the damage that they were intended to do, I guarantee you most people will be in a state of a walking coma, kind of like almost like Walking Dead, to the point where they will be like, "Wait, what? Oh, what? Wait, what? That that's crazy. Who's next?" Right? Bible tells us that people would wonder, what, didn't it? Some people, and if you're feeling like you're too late, I want to share this with you. Remember the parable that those who were working and the one who came a few hours later, right? If, and I want you to think about this, what do you have? What do you have to lose? Everything. Everything. The kingdom. That's what's at stake. That's what's at stake, brothers and sisters. Everything. Don't let no one tell you, oh, no, 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 it's all right. You got another. Everything is at stake. My eternity is at stake. Because if you get fired from the employment of heaven, you don't get another chance. There is no ad for you. That's it. The gates are closed. It's over. Now, with that being said, it's time to start looking differently, my brothers and sisters. It's time to start thinking differently about yourselves. Fair
If you
use.
take this basketball right here, you put it in my hands,
Yeah, it's worth about $15. That's it. But you put that basketball in the hands of LeBron James, it's worth about 30 or 40 million. Take this football right here, put it in my hands, it's worth about, I don't know, $10, $11. In the hands of Peyton Manning, it's worth about 50, $60 million. Depends on whose hands it is. Put a slingshot in my hands, it just becomes a kid's toy. You put it in the hands of King David, and he slays the giant with it. See, it depends on whose hand it's in. 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread would feed me with some bread left over. Put it in the hands of Jesus, and it feeds thousands. Depends on whose hands that it's in. If I had a couple of nails in my hand right now, I might would build you a birdhouse if you're lucky. Might nail down a piece of wood. But you put them same nails in Jesus' hands, and it leads to salvation and eternal life for folks who love him and folks who trust him. You see, it depends on whose hands that it's in. And your worries and your cares and the things that's got you stressed out, if you leave them in your hands, that's all they're ever going to be. But if you put them same worries and cares and your problems in the hands of Christ, he's going to see you through it. He's going to take care of every need that we got. Y'all take care and have a blessed day. But just remember, it depends on whose hands that it's in. Give everything you got to God and let him handle it for you.
I don't know who needed to hear that. I've had this video for months. Okay, for months. All right. It says July here, but I've actually had, yeah, I think it's like, oh yeah, it says July 2023. I've had this video for a whole year. And I said, Most High, when can I make the lesson for this? Holy Spirit's like, just hold on now, hold on. We got it. Just wait. I just listen. I'm just a servant. I just listen. Perfect. Perfect. Right? Brothers and sisters, your talent in my hands is worth nothing. But your talent in your hands is worth everything that it's meant to be. I want you to think of that. Just like my talent in your hands has meant nothing. But the talent that Christ gave me is worth everything. And this is first for you to acknowledge that your talents are special and unique just for you. You have to understand this. They are special and unique just for you. Okay? Don't, brothers and sisters, and social media, I believe, has been a very negative tool. It can be a positive tool, but it's more so negative, right? And so you'll see people doing things in these fake ads. Oh, how like I flip this house and how I turn this to that, and they'll carry your interests, and your talents will go hidden. Your talents will go hidden, brothers and sisters. Your talents will go hidden. Okay, I want you to think of these things. Now, I did want to just go over the word hid, right? Hid, hidden, right? Look what it says. Hid means to keep secret, right? And you don't want to let the world know you got that talent. People, some people don't even know who the godly you is because you're too busy. They'll think of me like this, or they'll laugh at me. I got video for that too. Okay, hid, hide. Look what it says. In this sense, it's not preserving. Yeah, it's not. It's concealing, to hide, a covering. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Imagine, imagine you working a 9 to 5 just to hide your what? Imagine you working a 9 to 5 just to hide your talent. It's really deep. Now, let's dive into this slothful servant here for a little more. He said, I hid the talent in the earth. I hid the talent in the in the world. You see that? It was covered by worldly things. It was covered with interests of the world. And I told people, I think I said in the lesson a while back, I said, you are on social media looking at someone else do what they want to do or what the Most High has called them to do. But as you're watching that, you're also losing time doing what He called you to do. You scroll in 3, 4, 2 hours, and you could have put time and effort into your talent, right? It's kind of crazy once you think about it. It's kind of crazy. Now, let's save these for the end. Once you think about it, in that the talent parable, you said, okay, Christ sowed something in me. What if I share it and people don't like it? Do you understand? He said, go out and spread my gospel. So, first of all, you need to understand when we see these men here and they go through and they sort out and all the dirt and the clay and the mud and the different sands and rocks and stuff like that, and they find the gem. Do you understand that the gem doesn't stay where it's found? How would you have gold then? How would you have a diamond? How would we know what diamonds were if things of worth stayed in the same place? Kind of confused there. People say, "Oh, I just need to get out. I just need to do something." Christ gave you a ticket out. It's called your talent. It's called your talent. Check it out.
Before he died, the father said to his son, here's a watch that your grandfather gave me. It's almost 200 years old, but before I give it to you, go to the jewelry store and tell them I want to sell it and see how much they offer you. So the son went to the jewelry store and came back saying,
all right, Dad. So they offered me $100 because they said it was very old.
The father then said, all right, now go to the pawn shop. So the son went to the pawn shop and returned saying,
Dad, they offered $20 for the watch. It's even less now.
The father looked at his son and said, okay, son, one last thing. Take it to the museum and see how much they offer for it. So the son went to the museum and came back saying,
Dad, you won't believe it. They wanted to give me $1 million for it. They said it was one of the rarest watches they'd ever seen.
the father looked at him and said, I wanted to let you know that the right place values you in the right way. Don't get angry if you find yourself in the wrong place and feel undervalued. Just remember, your value doesn't decrease just because someone is unable to see your worth.
There it is. Your value doesn't decrease because someone doesn't see your worth. What? Don't we serve a good God? Because it's not about other people's thoughts that determine you. It's about your actions and what you do for our Father that determine our value, right? Hmm. And so some of you are wondering, man, I wish I could. It's not a wish, it's when will you? Will today be day one or will it be one day? That's the question. That's the true question. And of course, you're always going to come across naysayers, right? You're always going to come across people.
Look, there is a crocodile.
You're always going to come across people who don't believe you. That's normal. That's normal. But watch this. This is what it means when you stay in places that don't value you.
Look, there is a crocodile. No, look carefully, it's just wood. I'm not kidding. There is a crocodile. I will prove it by throwing a stone at it. No, I still believe it's just wood. I'll tap it with a stick then to prove it. Look, it's just wood. I'll spray it with water, then it should reveal itself. All right, I'll stand on it. Then you'll know it's really a crocodile. Oh, he was right. It was a crocodile. Be careful, it is a crocodile. No, this is just wood.
Moral of the story, don't put your life on the line just to convince someone of something. It could end sadly for you.
Stop trying to convince people that God is doing something special for you. Remember, brothers, sisters, the talent that God gave you is not my talent. And I'm happy for you. And I'm happy that your talent isn't mine, just like my talent isn't yours. You see that? We should never be amongst people who we have to prove our value to, right? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Because in the long run, you see, he ended up trying to prove that he was telling the truth, and it took his own life. Now, when you hit that point in life, brothers and sisters, and you're saying, man, I just keep making mistakes and making mistakes, right? As I always say, fall forward, not back. Don't stay in the mistakes. Hold yourself accountable. Always do better than your yesterday, right? Never go back. But once you break off from these individuals, you have to understand the cycle of greatness. Check this out.
If milk gets bad, it becomes yogurt. Yogurt is more valuable than milk. If it gets even worse, it turns to cheese. Cheese is more valuable than both yogurt and milk. And if grape juice turns sour, it transforms into wine, which is even more expensive than grape juice. You're not bad because you made mistakes. Mistakes are the experiences that make you more valuable as a person. Alexander Fleming's mistake led him to invent penicillin. Don't let your mistakes get you down. It is not practice that makes perfect. It is mistakes we learn from that make perfect. Just keep going. If you are not following us, you're probably never going to see us again. If you are, then congratulations. You are growing every day.
Did you see that? And think about it, right? Think about it. First part.
If milk gets bad, it becomes yogurt.
If milk gets bad, everybody loves some yogurt, right? It becomes yogurt.
Yogurt is more valuable than milk. If it gets even worse, it turns to cheese.
And then it turns to cheese. The curds, right? But you have to learn what? Despite the struggle, your talent was made to flourish, right? Because we love the milk, right? You put it in cakes, you bake with it. Sometimes you drink it, right? Sometimes you eat yogurt, sometimes you don't. You don't. Sometimes people like to eat cheese, but they don't really like milk, and vice versa. And you have to understand that the reward is there despite the type of adversity that you may be going through. Because technically, the toil is the first type of adversity because you got to, what? Fallow that ground, right? Got to break that up. And that can be painful. But what's more painful? Fallowing your ground or hearing Christ say, these are the talents I gave you, and why didn't you use them? You don't think he's going to say that on the day of judgment to some people? If not a lot of people, he's going to say, hey, Suzanne, hey, look, I gave you 4 talents and you didn't use one. Come on, what's going on? He's not going to want to hear, oh, well, work got the best of me. And, when I was 29, I lost this person and that person. And, when I hit 30, 38, you know, I became a supervisor or a CEO and everything just, he's not going to want to hear any of that. Brothers and sisters, you have to learn because, and this is only true, you're going to recognize your value when other situations experience you. If you think about it, right? We all are what? Kind of like that milk, but everywhere we go, watch this, everywhere we go, people look at us differently. Some people will look at you as the milk. Some people will look at you as the yogurt. Some people will look at you as the cheese, right? Now, guess what? Milk is known for breakfast. Yogurt is known for breakfast and lunch. Cheese is used at dinner parties, right? Cheese is used at high value occasions, right? Come on now. And that's where you should strive to be with your talent. You want Christ to show you off at the banquet in the kingdom. Look, there you go. There you go. Mr. Mr. Talent Man himself. Look at look at Miss Talent Woman herself. Look at her. I gave her I gave her 3 talents. She came back with 15. Look at her. I I gave him 4. He came back with 20. Look at him. Right? The goal is to wow the Most High. The goal and the Most High. You want to know his beautiful relationship with us? He wows us by giving us talents that he believes we could accomplish. Think about that. Some of y'all don't even think highly of your talents, but you have to sit back and say, the Most High gave me this. That means he wanna he wanna see me do this. I mean, think about it, right? There's a lot of people in the world who can sing, who have a good voice, right? And I'm going to use singers because there's a lot of hidden singers in the world. And some people say, "Oh, I'm so scared. I don't want people to look at me," or someone may not like their voice, right? For my singers. And I think and I'm not a singer, but I make music and I don't mind singing. It may not be a singer's voice, but I will still sing, okay, for the Most High, all right, most definitely. But for my singers, check this out. It is the only it is the only talent. You ready? It is the only talent that Satan no longer has, but uses worldly people to attack all of us. But in the same token, watch this now. Satan is so angry that when he fell, the Most High took his voice and put it in select children in the world. Say what? Say what? I want you to think about that. That's deep. The Most High took Satan's voice, gave it to some birds, gave it to some creation, men and women, children, and said, go and do beautiful things with it. Because the first person I had have a voice of singing the morning star, Satan, he didn't value what I thought of him. Hmm. And you notice when Satan is the first one to show us what happens when you don't value your talent, but you value someone else's, you get the boot. You see, he valued Adam in his authority more than his, knowing that Lucifer, remember his name changed from Lucifer to Satan. When his name was Lucifer, he was a cherubim. He was he was higher than Adam. And a lot of people fail to realize that when you're looking at someone else's talent, your talent may even be higher than what you think. But jealousy is one drug that will drag you down to the pits. All right. So keep that in mind. I'll play that one more time for y'all. Whole thing.
If milk gets bad, it becomes yogurt. Yogurt is more valuable than milk. If it gets even worse, it turns to cheese. Cheese is more valuable than both yogurt and milk. And if grape juice turns sour, it transforms into wine, which is even more expensive than grape juice. You're not bad because you made mistakes. Mistakes are the experiences that make you more valuable as a person. Alexander Fleming's mistake led him to invent penicillin. Don't let your mistakes get you down. It is not practice that makes perfect. It is mistakes we learn from that make perfect. Just keep going. If you are not following us, you're probably never going to see us again. If you are, then congratulations. You are growing every day.
And I hope by you following Journey of the Remnant, you've been growing. I do hope and pray. Okay, I know I can be a tough cookie every now and then, but I love you all. Okay, now let's bring it to Isaiah 2 and 1 through 5. Reads the word that Isaiah the son of Amoz saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days, it's now, that the mountains of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. And why did I include this? I wanted you guys to know. We started off with sharing that the nations are coming to judgment in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is called the valley of decision. But the end of this, brothers and sisters, is when we truly get together under the real Christ. And yes, I said the real Christ. Okay. And last scripture, Psalms 126. And it reads, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, meaning the freedom, we were like them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, our tongue was singing. Then they then said they among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them. The Lord hath done great things for us, whereof we are glad. Turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seeds, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. And brothers and sisters, I have 2 more videos. I want you to see this video. And let this video be a testament that no matter the condition of your life, your body, you can always serve the Most High. You can always. Fair use.
Okay, I'm one of the ones. A new creation, one who believes I'm a child of God. A holy nation, spring of the king. I'm protected and I'm loved. I'm in air, sowing the seeds. I've been forgiven, I have been freed, I have been chosen, I've been redeemed. Okay, I'm one of the ones. One of who? One of the unashamed. Never do I hesitate at time to call upon his name. Call him mighty God, call him Jesus Christ. He's the King of Kings, he's the one who reigns. He's the Alpha, Omega, Jehovah, and we give him glory because he is the one. Yeah, we walk through the valley. We will not fear any evil. We running and not growing weary. It's showing on wings like we eagles. We getting rid of our pride and stepping away from our ego. We keep our lips from telling lies. Our tongues from speaking the evil. We got on the home of God. Build the truth, the truth, the peace. We know that the devil's a lie. The word about him will lose the sleep. We been depending on God. He said his grace is all we need. So where we keeping our minds? We keeping our minds stayed on me. Cause he is the one. I done been in the world, but I never been friends with the world. Maybe because I'm not of the world, I don't follow the world. Even if I'm meant to take it out, then it's probably out of this world. I'm a model of the world, I'm a represent God on this earth. In and outside of the church, the Father is first. I don't have a physical Bible, but baby, my Bible at work. I know God is the one that supplies me with all that I need. That is through Jesus Christ, and I'm certain that all things are possible if you believe. So keep on speaking life. I know from the love of God that nothing can separate me. Not even death, either life. I know poverty catches up with you, my slumber or sleep. So I'm consistent now, and the Lord is my strength. Who should I be afraid of? I fall on my knees and repent. It's better than what I done gave her. If I know I'm being sinned, Satan gon' see what I'm made of. Man, if you have any sins, I'm telling you now it will change. It's a delicate thing when I say I'm a step for the king. I put that on everything with the clean, I don't mess with the devil and streets. I love and respect, I love need me be set in the street. We know that all things are working together, declare and decree. Do you know of all things and God is prepared for me? Help, it's never been seen. Okay, I'm one of the ones, a new creation, one who believes I'm a child of God, a holy nation, bring another king. I'm protected and I'm loved. I'm an heir, sowing the seeds. I've been forgiven, I have been freed, I have been chosen, I've been redeemed. Okay, I'm one of the ones, one of who? One of the unashamed, I'm an unashamed. Never do I hesitate if not to call upon his name. Call him mighty God, call him Jesus Christ. He's the King of Kings, he's the one who reigns. He's the Alpha, Omega, Jehovah, and we give him glory. He is the one.
All right. Serve him despite the struggle and get the rewards despite the struggle. Brothers and sisters, I leave you with one last scripture, Matthew 18. I hope you evaluated that and said, man, despite maybe being limbless and, you know, having, a lot of disadvantages, this person still found their talent. Still said, I am not going to let the world tell me no. And the song was fire too. Right? That energy that I'm going to make you feel this song. Brothers and sisters, after this, I hope you make the world feel the talent Christ gave you. Amen. With that being said, Matthew chapter 18, verse 3 through 4 reads, And verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become a, as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. I love you all.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Kind. Isn't it odd? We can only see our outsides, but nearly everything happens on the inside. What's the bravest thing you've ever said?
Help. Asking for help isn't giving up. It's refusing to give up. Tears fall for a reason, and they're your strength, not weakness.
I think you believe in me more than I do.
Life is difficult, but you are loved.
You are loved and important. And you bring to this world things that no one else can. So hold on.
Hold on, brothers and sisters, and use those talents because you bring something that no one else can bring into this world. Shabbat Shalom.